Hey, how y'all doing out there in YouTube land? This is Stiletto coming at you from the Wild Wild West. Well, I just want to wish everybody a happy belated Easter. Happy belated Easter. Hope everybody had a great Easter and spent time with their families and let the kids go on Easter egg hunts and all that and just have a good time. Alright. Well, today I just want to go over some of the knives. These are all knives that are in my rotation box that I've been trying out for this year, since I purchased them. And this one's the newest one to the edition, the Conspirator. And I really like the Conspirator. The Conspirators, I like it better than the Cogent. I'm gonna be blunt. I like it, and I really like the Cogent. So y'all know that. Y'all know I love the Cogent. But the Conspirator is a little bit bigger feeling, and it's just, I don't know, like the blade is a little bit more slicey, and it's just a really nice feeling knife, the Conspirator. But anyway, let's talk about these a little bit. Oh, and there's something I want to mention about this one first before we get into it. This is the titanium original goat, and I don't know if you remember right, but I did have originally I had a blade that was a sheep's foot blade on this one, and I had an issue with the sheep's foot blade because it was hitting the backspacer. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why in just a second. And so I went back and I took this blade, I swapped this blade out with another knife and put this blade on it. And I noticed that the clip blade or the Bowie style blade does not hit the backspacer. Only the sheep's foot blade does. And the reason why it hits the backspacer, it hits right where the this hole is developed for the for what you call it, the lanyard hole. The lanyard hole creates like a hump in there. I don't know if you guys can see that. This one I polished the backspacer because I was trying to polish out a lot of the marks from when where the blade was hitting it. Couldn't quite get it all out. I might go over it with a Dremel and then repolish it, because it sort of bugs me that I see the little nick marks from the blade in it. But anyway, if you get the titaniums, or let me show you what's happening here. This is a brass backspacer. It's the exact same size as the titanium one that's in my titanium original goat folder. And this is an aluminum one. It's the same size, but it has what they call a V-groove in it. And when you look at it with the V-groove, let me take these out so you guys can see them better. And this is for all the people that are modifying their knives and they're buying parts and stuff. I'm just giving you guys a little tip about the original goats and which parts to order for whatever blade type you're gonna use. Because that's what this information is probably really good for. See, the V-groove has literally a V-groove on the inside and on the outside. Whereas the one without the V-groove doesn't. And these are thicker than the stock ones. Okay, let me show you what a stock one looks like. This is the kit that you can buy from DLT Trading. It comes from Demco Knives. It's a Demco Knives kit. So these are the original sizes for all these parts. Let's see. I don't know if you can tell the difference. It's not a real big difference, but these are thicker right around here where the lanyard hole is. This is the lanyard hole right here. And it creates a big hump right there. And because it's thicker, a little bit thicker, see, look at this is a stock one. Look how thin it is. Look at this one. It's thicker. And because it has that additional thickness, the blade hits it. The tip of your your sheep's foot blade will hit that. And with this one, even though it's thicker from the sides, but it has the groove in the middle, so the blade doesn't hit. Let me show what I'm talking about. Let me see here. This one has another type of groove that they make. It's called a ball groove. And it's the same thing. On the inside, it's grooved just like it is on the outside. And you open it up. I don't know if you guys can see down in there. Maybe if I had a flashlight, huh? You guys, where's my flashlight? All right. I'm trying to show you what it looks like on the inside. And this one's been opened and closed a million times, and you can see that it's not hitting the backspacer at all. And it's because it's got that groove in it. That's what the difference is. So if you getting, I'm trying to let you know, if you're getting a sheep's foot blade, this is the sheep's foot blade with the original goat. This is all original goat, and it has original goat. These are aluminum, what do you call them, scales, and aluminum backspacer. But this backspacer has what they call the ball groove in it. So it's a little bit different than the V groove, but they're both grooved, and because they're both grooved, they work with the sheep's foot blade. The sheep's foot blade won't hit those. So if you're going to get a backspacer for a sheep's foot blade, don't get one of these without the ball groove or the V groove in it. Unless you want to, take a Dremel tool to it and, and make it thinner right in here so the blade won't hit. Myself, I'd rather not have to do that because I really don't want to have to modify anything. But this one's got some weight to it, the brass one. I'm comparing it to the aluminum one. It's got some weight to it. Let's see how much it weighs, just out of curiosity. .4. And this one probably is nothing. 0.1. Yep. All right. And the stock one, it doesn't even register. That's why they're so light. All right. Well, that's it for the 80/20 info that I got to share with y'all. Let me pull this stuff away real quick. I still got, these are the scales I'm supposed to dye purple. I haven't done it yet. Been too busy doing other things. It is on my agenda, and I even got the purple dye and everything, so, so I'm totally ready to go on it. I just haven't done it. I think they're going to be sweet when they're purple. This pocket clip goes in here. Try to keep all the parts together so I don't lose them all or get them all mixed up with other things. Okay, set that aside. But these original goat parts are really, really nice parts. It's just that you gotta get the right parts for your blade. You either do, if you're able to do, a slight modification to the backspacer, so your sheep's foot blade won't hit like the plain backspacers, and that's cool too, though, because it's always cool to modify your stuff, make it. Then you can say you fixed it or you worked out the issue on it or whatever. That's cool too. All right, let's get down to what I think about these so far. I'm sorry about that. I probably spent a lot of time just talking about the 20.5. Sorry about that. But this one, absolutely love it. But just like the other one, it will come loose. And when you can tell these are a little bit loose, like this one's a little bit loose right now, you get a little bit of side to side. And that's because the pivot screw is coming loose. It's not because something's wearing out. It's just because the pivot screw's coming loose. And this one I Loctited also, but the Loctite didn't hold. And I've had the same issue with the other one too, the bigger one. I can't find my Loctite doesn't hold. Maybe I need to get stronger Loctite or something. I don't know. But I absolutely love this knife. I love the size of it. It carries nice. It's an absolutely beautiful knife. The deadbolt works perfect on it. The Kin Onion assist works perfect. I've been playing with it. It hasn't had any issues. Seems like it gets faster actually, because I think it just gets a little bit broken in and everything gets worn into its tracks or whatever that moves on it every time it opens and closes. Absolutely beautiful knife. To me, this is like a California legal auto. It's about the closest I can get to having, a knife that's spring assisted that I can carry in California. Because we can't carry push button autos or even butterfly knives, or gravity knives either. But this one, assisted knives, they're legal here. So, and they have to have a thumb stud or a flipper. This one has a thumb stud and the flipper, so it's double legal. As soon as you touch that flipper, it goes. It sort of reminds me of the Flash, the Sog Flash. The Sog Flash is the fastest assisted knife that I've owned. I think the Sog Flash is awesome. And it's like a budget knife too. These work awesome. Absolutely love them. It's like an automatic tactical knife that's legal in California. That's what it seems like to me. That's the reason why I like it. And it's a super heavy duty knife. It's got the deadbolt lock. It's got 3.5 I think it's like was it 3.5? I think it's a 3.5 inch blade. Yep, 3.5 inch blade. Excellent knife. Excellent knife. CRKT M16 is the M16 was a 03. Is it 03? A 03 DB or something like that. Model number. Beautiful knife. Next up, my Benchmade Mini Adonis. I love this one too. Now I've seen videos with the locks failing with these, with them hitting in the back, but I haven't had that issue with that. And I tried doing mine, and it doesn't do that. I still need to call Benchmade and find out if it's all the knives or if it's like the ones that they made last year. Because these are the ones I had. I purchased them this year, and so I wonder if mine might be, if they might have solved that issue. I absolutely love these crew wear knives. These knives are beautiful and they operate so smoothly. And y'all know I like to fidget, and these are fidget knives. These Benchmades are awesome. Both the large one and this one, I like them both. But these are all my smaller knives that we're talking about today. These are what I would call small knives for me. The ones with the 3 to 3.5 inch blades. They're not mini knives. I would just call them small knives for me. Medium knives I would call like, I don't know, 3.75 or a little bit over 3.5 inches to 4 inches. That's like a medium size. And then large, I don't know, large would be over 4 inches. And up to about 5 inches, 5.5 inches. I think I would call that no, maybe about 4.5 inches. 4.5 to 5 inches would be a large. Anything over 5 inches to about 6 inches, I would call it XL. Anything over 6 inches, I call to like a 7.5 inch, like the extra large Spada. I would call that a double XL. That's like a double XL. Come on now, how they calling the Spada XL an XL knife? That's a double X. That's not an XL. But the largest spot is the XL. You know what I'm saying? Y'all agree with me or not? But that's the way I feel about that. But anyway, next knife on the agenda is the Krog. As y'all know, I love these CJRB Krogs. absolutely love them. They're beautiful knives. And these are very inexpensive. This is the most affordable knife on this table. This one is like about, I think they're like $37 or something like that. Excellent knife. They work on Omega spring type setup, and the springs that they use are like the Wolf springs. They're bigger than the Benchmade Omega springs. They're bigger and beefier. And this one you can operate like with a recoil lock. That's their version of the crossbar lock. You can operate it like you can the 80-20 .5 or any of the 80-20s. You can operate it from the front. Absolutely love these. Or you can operate it from the side like a Benchmade. Awesome knives. These are great knives. Highly recommend them. And my favorite one is the Krog. The other one that they make that with the recoil lock is called the Kicker. That one's a nice knife too, but my favorite is this one, the Krog. Is it RPM 9 powdered stainless steel blade. And G10 handles. This one's G10 handles also. This one's aluminum. 6061 aluminum handles with stainless steel liners. This one's G10 with stainless steel liners. This one's G10 with stainless steel liners. Next up, this is my modified, highly modified. Hardly any of these parts are stock except for the blade and the internals and the hardware and the actual lock. But the handle scales come from Original Goat. These are the titanium stonewash handle scales, plain handle scales, smooth handle scales, with a titanium backspacer. And it has the Lynch Northwest deep carry pocket titanium pocket clip. The blade is the Austrian, not German, Austrian. I always want to say German. Austrian D2, the K110 D2. Stonewash finish. All the hardware is stonewash finish too. Absolutely love this one. With this setup like this, it costs. It makes this knife fairly expensive because these handle scales and everything aren't inexpensive. They're like $150, I think. And I got a deal on them because I pre-ordered them before they even listed them. Absolutely love these. Makes the knife 4.5 ounces. Stocked, it's like about 3.5 ounce life. So this doing this kit adds about 1 ounce to your knife. And these scales are thick. They are thick scales. They're the thickest scales and the strongest scales out of all the scales I've tried. Between the RGT, the carbidized, and the stock scales, and the other scales from Original Goat, the aluminum scales, these are thicker than all of them. These are thicker and stronger than all of them. I know it's a lot of money for these scales, but I don't know, I think it's sort of worth it. But I'm not suggesting for everybody to do this because I know it's really expensive to do this. I wish Demco Knives would offer knives like this from the get-go. And even with like a better steel or whatever, like a Magna Cut. Oh, come on. Or crew wear would be tough on this knife too because it's like a heavy-duty blade. That'd be tough too. Or a 3V or something like that. But I'm trying to think of other steels that Andrew and John like to work on. Another like Magna Cut. He's been talking about Magna Cut's pretty awesome. So I think one of these with Magna Cut and titanium scales. I don't know, but the thing is, if they make one like that, it's going to cost what, $600 or $700. They're going to charge for it. It's not going to be cheap. So when you look at it from that point of view, it might be cheaper just to make them like this on your own, buying the parts and doing it yourself. But that's it's a personal decision. Me myself, you don't see me doing this on a lot of knives except for the ones I really, really, really like. And I must admit, the 80-20.5 is probably my favorite knife right now. My favorite knife to carry to work every day. These get more pocket time than any other knife that I own. This one and the black one. These two, to be exact, get the most pocket time. I love the titanium scales. But then when sometimes I want to carry a lightweight knife, and that's when I like this one. And this one's totally stock. Both of these got skiff bearings in them, except for skiff bearings. And this one's not really totally stock because when I made this one, they didn't have all blacked out ones, so I had to make my own all blacked out one. I took was it DLT trading? I think it was a DL trading. I think this one originally had the dark green, OD green scales and the black blade, and I took a regular one with the black handles and swapped out the handles. Like you guys see me do before. And they made it all black one. Then they start selling all blacked out ones. This one's got the skiff bearings in it. These are so smooth. And to me, it's like once you learn how to use these are the easiest knives to use. They're the easiest knives to fidget with. I think they're the easiest. I know it's easy to really just push a button, but these you can do all sorts of things with them. I mean, you can do all sorts of little tricks with them. Oh, it's being stubborn on me there. Let me see if I can get going here. There we go, a little bit. But you can do all sorts of things with these knives. It's like they're fun to play with. Whereas like on the button lock, you're sort of limited. You're limited to just doing the button lock. You can do a little bit of the reverse finger. Or in this one, you could even like slow roll it with the thumb using the groove. That's what's cool about the Conspirator. There's several ways you can open it. And it likes to be reverse finger flick. Or you can just use the flipper. I love flipper knives. Excellent knife. Excellent knife. But, I don't know, this one's just more rewarding or something. Because anybody could push a button. I think anybody could use a button lock. This one, it takes a little bit of skill to learn how to use it. But once you master it, it's like awesome. That's not going to do it for me. There we go. Because the trick to it is that you got to pull back and lift up. There we go. Okay. Absolutely love these. But I think my next favorite one to fidget with though is the button locks. And now my button locks, as y'all know, I've tried other button locks too. Ooh, the famous ones. Oh, yes. And what other button locks have I tried so far this year? The Malibus. Excellent. The action on these is like awesome. Awesome. I love the action on these. And if that's all you want to do is fidget with your knife, these are awesome. But what I don't like about them is that, I didn't know this before I bought them because I didn't really think about it. But because of the shape of the handle and the fact that it's aluminum with a slippery finish, it just feels slippery. It feels like somebody could just pull this out my hand. I mean, it's not easy to hold on to this. And so, as you know, I like knives that can not only be a great pocket knife, but it also has to be a knife that can be used for self-defense. And the other thing that I'm not too thrilled about with these is that with these, I want you to look at the plunger and how much of the blade tang it covers. Now, compare it to, let's say, I don't know if you guys can see these. Well, this one is easy to see. We'll use the Kaiser. Compare it to like something like the Kaiser. You can see where the plunger covers the blade tang. This is the plunger right here. Right there is the plunger. See where the button is? There's the plunger. See the button is? Now you can see the plunger. These don't cover hardly any of the blade tang. These, just like the Civivis, cover about half of the blade tang. So that's the reason why I decided, those are the two reasons why I decided not to have them in my box and just collect them. I really love these Malibus. I think they're great knives. I mean, the action on these is, like everybody says, the action is awesome. I mean, it's like, it's hard to make them fail. I mean, it's like the detent and everything on them is like perfect. And it's like, you know, the fit and finish on mine are beautiful. That's nothing short of beautiful. I mean, like the centering and everything, it's like, everything's perfect. I don't have no gripes or anything about them. It's just that it's not the one for me. But I absolutely love these. Absolutely love these. And I'm going to keep them because they're hard to get. And just so I can have them in my collection, I could pull them out if I need to, but they're not the ones I want to carry. Knives that I carry, I want them to be knives that, number one, that I have to have faith in the grip. If the grip isn't any good, then it doesn't work for me. Like this one is a bigger knife compared to like one of these. See what I'm saying? The girth, it's got more girth to the grip. There's more to hold on to. This one's like a larger size knife, sort of. You know, it's pushing the limits of being a medium sized knife. It's trying to be a larger knife. That's what I feel about it. This one is a true medium size. The Cogent, that's the true medium sized knife one. See how my hand fits on it? The Conspirator. So you got a little bit of butt sticking out there. The Conspirator's got a bigger handle. Let me line them up for you so you can see. I'm putting them it's just a little bit bigger. It's like an 1/8 of an inch or a 1/4 of an inch bigger. And the blades are about the same size. They're both 3.5 inch blades, but the Conspirator's got a bigger handle. And the width of the blade of the Conspirator is wider. It's a wider blade, but the thickness of both of them are the same. They're both 3mm blades. It's 9CR Damascus. 9CR Damascus. This one is the German D2. Austrian D2, not German D2. And this one's a Japanese AUS 10A with a DLC coating. All right, that's the Conspirator. That's the Cogent. Let's move on to one of my other favorites. Oh man, I absolutely love this one. This is my number one frame lock. This is my most favorite frame lock. It's the Italian-made Lion Steel, made in Maniago, Italy. That's the knife center of the world, cutlery center of the world for Italy. It's got an Integro 6061 aluminum frame and body or scales. Everything's all one piece. The handle's all one piece. Milled out of one piece of aluminum. It has a frame lock. And frame over travel stop. Hardened steel inserts. I think the coating's PVD. But the steel's Sleipner steel. It's like a new hybrid of D2. It's supposed to be tougher than D2 and doesn't chip. So that's supposed to be the most easy one to sharpen though, and it will rust. It is a carbon steel. Absolutely love this knife. This knife feels like it's super safe. Look at the way the flipper's made. And see how your finger fits in there? Even if this lock was to fail, which if you put it in the lock position, I don't think it can fail. You know, I mean, the knife would have to break, that's what I mean. When I say something can't fail, that means that I think you would have to break the knife in order to make something fail. Whereas like a lot of liner locks, you don't have to break the knife to make it fail. And a lot of frame locks are like that too. You don't have to break the knife to make it fail. But like a triad lock, you're going to have to break the knife. And even then, you won't break the lock, you'll break the blade. You won't break the handle or the lock, you break the blade. And this one in its lock position, I bet you, I don't know, I bet you'd be pretty strong. I bet you this one would be pretty strong too. Because just the total construction of it's very strong because it's one piece of aluminum. It's not like a bunch of pieces that are all bolted together and screwed together. This is one piece. So I expect this frame to be like, this type of frame lock to be super strong. As opposed to like other frame locks. I like the way the pocket clip is. It can flip over to each side. I like the way it screws in at the top, and you got like a glass breaker right there. It's a beautiful knife. I like the way the blade is crowned. It's all rounded off right here. I love that. It's just a very high quality knife. This is Line Steel SR11A. Beautiful knife. If you like frame locks, I think this is one of the best ones, in my opinion, that I've seen. And this is another great frame lock too, though. I like the new Case Marilla. The Case Marilla is an awesome knife too. I've taken the pocket clip from this side and put it on this side because on this side it didn't work so well because it was just like sliding out of my pocket too easy. And you know me, I ride motorcycles, so it didn't work on that side. I probably could have bent the pocket clip or something, but I didn't want to do all that. I just let the pocket clip alone and put it on the side with the G10. I carry it in my left pocket. With the G10, it stays in my pocket and gives it enough grip. I absolutely love this one. It's got an S35 VM blade. Made by Case Cutlery. American made. Beautiful knife. I highly recommend this one. And as you all know, I have the other one too, the Tonto. And my favorite out of the two is the Marilla. The Tonto, when it came to me though, it was a little bit off center. I've got it to be about as center as I've been able to get it. It's still a little bit off center, but it's not perfectly centered, but it doesn't rub or anything. It never rubbed, but it got really close to rubbing. It's a good knife though. I've used it a lot. I've carried it a lot. And usually my knives that have a little bit of a defect, those are the ones I'll carry the most because I don't worry about trying to resell them down the road because they already got a defect in them. Knives I like to sell to other people, I like to sell people perfect knives, not damaged knives. Or knives with flaws. The ones with flaws, those are the ones I'll use. And this one doesn't have a flaw, I just like it. I just really like it. It's a really nice weight. It's like 3.5 ounces. I want to say about 3.5 ounces. Let me see. Yep, 3.5 ounces, 3.5. Absolutely love it. And this one is 5.1 for the SR1. Cogent, 3.4. 3.8 for the Conspirator. 3.6 for my 80-20.5. Oh, 4.8. So when I put this blade on, I gained some weight. 4.8. 4.8 for my 80-20.5. Titanium 80-20.5. Original goat titanium. This one is 3.6. Let's compare it to one that's got the same blade on it. 3.6. So that's 3.6 also. So the stock ones are 3.6. Now it's saying 4.9. So it's probably right at almost 4.9 ounces. Wow. I didn't know it was that heavy. Wow. Okay. 4.7 for the Krog. And the Mini Adonis, 4.6. 4.0 for the 03DB. So the heaviest one is this one at 5.1 ounces. And the second heaviest is my AD 20.5 at 4.9 ounces. Let me see what the ones are that didn't make it into my box. 3.2 for the Malibu. 3.0 for this Malibu with the Warren Cliff blade as opposed to the reverse Tonto. 2.9 for the Altus, Civivi Altus. And 2.6, the lightest one of the bunch, the Kaiser Swags. All right, people. Well, that's about it for that. Hope you all enjoyed. And happy Easter, happy belated Easter to everybody. These are the ones I've been trying out, and I gotta say that I love them all. I would recommend all of these. Like this one, check into it and find out about the lock. But all these other ones, they haven't had any issues. This one, be prepared to tighten up the pivot screw on it. If you're not sure you can do that, then maybe this one's not for you. But if you are handy with your tools and taking care of your knives, it's no big deal. Just something that you have to do. It's just something that you have to do. It's just part of owning the deadbolts. The manual deadbolts. So once I've red Loctite them, I never had to worry about them again. But I think with the Canadian spring, it kicks them out really hard, and so I think it creates like a lot of shock to where it screws into the liner, and so it probably loosens it up all the time. But anyway, that's the only issue with that one. All of these perfect. This one right here, remember if you get the titanium scales, or it's not the scales, but you have to worry about some backspacer. Make sure you get the right backspacer for the type of blade that you're getting. Don't get the smooth backspacers. You need to get one with like either the V groove or the ball groove from original goat, if you're using original goat parts. If you want to use your sheep's foot blade. Absolutely love the 80-20s. Y'all know that. It's my favorite new knife. It's my most favorite knife to carry. Alright, people. That's about all I got to say for these. I highly recommend all these ones I've been trying out. My next video will probably be the larger knives I've been trying out. The majority of the knives I've been trying out, though, have been in this size range from 3 to 3.5 inch knives, because to me that's a good knife size for my work knives. If I pull these out in front of somebody, or one of my bosses or somebody wants to see what's in my pocket or whatever, I won't be worried about showing them something like this, because they're smaller. They're not threatening. It's not like a big knife. And especially these, like the sheep's foot blades. I think these are awesome for work because they don't look stabby. I'm being blunt. I'm just putting it out there. I'm just saying it like it is. This looks more stabby. This looks more like a stiletto. It sort of looks like a tactical stiletto to me. I don't know, what does it look like to you guys? It looks like a stiletto to me. This one's a little bit safer. It just looks like something that somebody that's in the military like me would have. It looks like a soldier's knife. This one doesn't look that threatening to me. Because to me, what's threatening would be like a stabby knife. I don't know. And this one just looks like a utility knife. It doesn't look like you got it to be a fighter. It looks like you got it to, just to have a nice utility knife. Same thing would go for this one, the Kojin. I feel the same way about the Kojin. This one looks like a soldier's knife. To me, it looks like a soldier's knife. And this one's a little stabby looking, but I like it. This one is a little bit stabby looking. I gotta admit to it. That one is stabby looking. This looks like a utility knife. To me, the 80-20.5s and the 80-20S's and the 80-20s, they all look like utility knives. But that's the whole the whole theory about a knife that I like for work, I like to have a knife that can serve as a great utility knife, but it also needs to be able to be a great self-defense folder. That means it has to have a Loctite that I trust, or it has to have flippers that I trust to protect my fingers, like, you know, especially like this one. Beautiful. And or locks I really trust. I really trust the shark lock. I trust it like a triad lock. And, or flippers. You know, all these knives I would trust in the self-defense role also if I have to use for a self-defense tool. They all have nice grips. They all have, you know, grips that inspire confidence. And so I would trust all of these. And to me, they're a good size. They're not threatening. And I know a lot of people have to carry things that are even smaller than these, but these are like the knives I can carry where I live, and they don't consider them to be a threat, like 3.5 inches or smaller. And you go over 3.5 inches, that's when they start considering things to be a threat where I live. They start getting, you know, the sheep will start coming out. The sheep will come out at night. The sheep will come out at night. The sheep will come out. Yeah. That's how it is in California. You know, I'm just being blunt. I'm just putting it out there. I'm just telling you all like it is. I'm not trying to sugarcoat anything. I'm just telling you all like it is. All right, people. I hope everybody had a great Easter. Peace out. Stiletto.